If you really want to know where the big players are positioning themselves within the market, volume profile is your answer. Hello and welcome to my channel STB Trading. My name is David and in today's video I want to walk you through on how to trade with volume profile. This might be the only volume profile video that you will ever need. Alright, let's jump right into the charts. Alright guys, so most of the time markets are trading in balance, and then sometimes it's possible that we can see a breakout into new price discovery, either to the upside or can also be to the downside. But whenever the move is over, usually price goes back into balance. And this happens all the time. And whenever we are mispriced, it's also possible that we will reverse and go back into this previous balance over here. And the easiest way how to display that is via a volume profile. And the most common volume profiles are either an equally distributed volume profile, which looks like that. And this is the case whenever we are trading in balance. So usually the market looks like that. Maybe it went down once, maybe it went up once, but then it went back into balance again. Or we can also have trend profiles. So trend profiles look a little bit more like this. So we can see that the market came from down here, it didn't take much time and it went all the way up and then went here into balance and continued to stay here until the next move occurs. Then of course we can also have trend profiles to the downside, which looks something like that. So similar like the other one. We first came from all the way up here, markets went down and then found some balance over here. So in general, these are the three most common profiles that we can find in the markets. Of course, sometimes they can also look a little bit differently. We can also have double distribution profiles, but I think these three profiles are the most common ones. And this profile is called a D profile according to the shape. This is a P profile, also according to the shape, and this one is a B profile. And for all three profiles, we have a value area where 70% of the trading occurred. So in an equally distributed profile, the value area is just right in the middle most of the time. And we have also our VPOC, our volume point of control, most of the time somewhere around that area. Then in a P profile, our value area usually is up here, and our VPOC as well. And the same applies also for a B profile. So it doesn't have to be always like that, but in most of the cases it should be like that. So how can we use that to our advantage? We can play certain trades from each value area because usually about 70% of every day's trading volume occurs within our value area. So if we have a equally distributed profile like here, usually the markets are in consolidation. And for that reason, we can just play mean reversion trades. So usually we play the trade from our value area high inside into our value area to the VPOC, to the volume point of control. We can do that from either side, either from the value area high or value area low. Then if we have a trend profile, we need to see if the trend continues or not. So we can either, if we have a breakout, wait for the retest and then enter here into a long, or we also have other options. For example, if it goes down here, we can enter into a long, or if we see a breakdown, we can enter here into a short. But of course, as it's a strong trend profile to the upside, it's more likely that we're gonna go higher. And the same takes place over here when we have falling markets. So either we have a breakout to the downside, we wait for a retest and enter at our value area low and then follow the trend. Or we have a retest of the value area high and enter here into a short trade. And the same applies if we have a breakout and the market wants to go up again, then we can enter here into a long, but the likelihood of course is slimmer as we most likely already have a trend. And we also need to see if we have any single prints or how the market structure in general looks like. Alright, now let's take a look at it on the charts. So we can here already clearly see some examples. So this is our distribution. We have here our value area. Here is our VPOC where the most amount of volume was traded. And whenever the market went above our value area high, we could have entered here into a short, for example. as we can see over here. Then as soon as the market broke back in here into our value area, we could have played it to the VPOC, for example. Or from the other side, it looks similar, even though this looks a little bit more trendy, as we can see that the volume came from here and then it was more distributed over here. So for that reason, this looks a little bit more like a trending profile. So after we had the rejection over here, again from the value area high, we could have played it to the VPOC, or the other way around over here, when we had a rejection again from the value area low, we could have played along all the way up here. And if we compare this to the following day, we also have the same setup, as you can see over here. When markets broke down, reversed, and then broke out from our previous day value area over here, we could have entered into a long and played it all the way up here until we saw some exhaustion. And as this is the beginning of a trend, this is a very, very good opportunity to enter into trend following trades. We again had our value area high over here. We had a breakout, retest, could have entered over here. Maybe we would have gotten stopped out over here depending on where you had your stop loss. But anyway, this would have been a second entry over here. And as it was a trend following trade, we could have played it all the way up here until we saw some exhaustion. Now thereafter, price reversed, and here we also have a very nice example. So again, we have here our value area low, our value area high, and as soon as we had a retest over here, we could have entered into a short and played it at least until down here somewhere. Then the next day, again, similar level. Here, this is our value area low. Here was it our value area high, and price came back to retest that level. And then we had a very beautiful sell-off. So for that reason, volume profile can give us a lot of opportunities and is an amazing tool to find trade entries. And I think this is a huge advantage over just looking at price action. The most important thing is just that you look at the time frame where the most amount of volume was traded. So the cash session. So here we are in Nasdaq, and this one has also just been adjusted according to the cash session. So whenever Nasdaq opens at 9:30 US time and until its closure. Everything outside of that time frame is not relevant, or at least not as long as we are trading during the cash session. Alright, so this has given us quite a good idea on how to trade with volume profile, on how to figure out if the market is overpriced or underpriced and how we can play it back into balance, or if we have a trend on how to follow that trend and enter through levels that we have detected with the volume profile. Alright guys, I hope you liked the video, hit a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.